Hey Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This is the second video I've made on the death of Jose Fernandez, the young Marlins pitcher who just passed September 25th, 2016. If you missed the first video I made, it is linked in the description. In that video, I show the parallels between his death, which is a ritual, and the upcoming 112th World Series, scheduled to begin October 25th. Since his death, more information has emerged, and I want to share with you further evidence that proves that his death is no accident. One of two things happened to this young man. Either he was murdered and ritually sacrificed for the upcoming World Series, or he has been made to fake his death by the numbers. And in the history of entertainment and celebrity deaths, this is nothing new. The people who are athletes, actors, musicians, politicians, their lives often end by the numbers. Ritual murder, ritual sacrifice, also possibly faking their deaths and escaping out of the limelight. As for why a 24-year-old would want to do that, that's hard to explain, but if he's forced to make the choice, that would explain a lot. Anyhow, we're going to talk about the significance of his name, the number he wore, the day he died, in regards, again, to the upcoming World Series, and in regards to what Saturn worship is and Saturn rituals are. I have a wealth of knowledge on this channel about Saturn worship and how the Freemasons, the Zionists, and high places worship Saturn, do things by the numbers of Saturn. Right now, front page news today is the death of Israel's leader at age 93. The number of Saturn, we're going to be talking a lot about 39 and 93 in this video. This story that you're looking at was ESPN's cover page for a lot of this morning. Right now on the front of ESPN, they have this story about Tim Tebow trying out with the Mets. Notice the timestamp down here at 39 seconds. Anytime you see ESPN talking about a New York team, it is very likely that the timestamp is 39 seconds, and that's not by coincidence. New York in gematria sums to 39. Everything in New York is coded 39 and 93. The first game after the death of Mr. Fernandez for the Marlins was against the Mets. Their game against Atlanta was postponed. Their next game against the Mets from New York. This is the story that replaced the cover page from what was there earlier this morning. And notice in this story, there's a minute 19 timestamp. That's 79 seconds. The word murder equals 79. We're going to talk more about this 119 sequence near the end of this video. I'm going to show you what they coded into their article, a very deliberate 119, a very special number, and a very memorable number in New York City, which was attacked on 11/9, September 11th. So in this reporting, they bring up 48 hours. Just remember in a moment, we're going to talk about the number 48. It's not an accident that ESPN put that number in the opening of the story. ESPN, run by the Freemasons, by the Zionists, who do everything by the numbers. That's why they know to code all their timestamps by the numbers. New York stories, 39 seconds. If you know gematria, if you know what these numbers represent, you can see how almost every time ESPN puts up a story, the number is a tribute to what the story is about. So look at this. The Marlins franchise was established in 93, and I did not realize this when I made the first video, but I did talk about the significance of his name, Fernandez, which equals 93. This year, the Chicago Cubs became the first team to clinch a playoff berth after their 93rd win. 93 is the number for Saturn, the keeper of time. In science, we're told that the sun is 93 million miles away. The sun is the real keeper of time in this world. The word Saturn equals 93. This year, tomorrow, we're celebrating a new scientific holiday about the journey of the sun around the Milky Way galaxy. They're calling it Galactic Tick Day. The reason it's being celebrated tomorrow, September 29th, is because that's the day that leaves 93 days left in the year. What I can guarantee you is the sun is not 93 million miles away. It's much closer than that. It's why you can see it. It's why you can feel it. We are being lied to. This world is full of lies, and all of the lies that make up our knowledge have been created by the numbers. The reason that is so is because we've been ruled over our entire lives, and long before any of us were here, by this gang of Freemasons and Zionists who do own this world, who control this world, and who treat us all like fools. They're also the ones who ritually sacrifice the entertainers that we worship. So, after the death, the first game between the Mets, or for the Marlins, was against the Mets from New York. Here's a shot of them playing the New York team. They got Fernandez's jersey up. He wore the number 16. We're in the year 2016. We'll talk about what 16 has to do with his approximate 3:30 time of death. Notice the first game against the Mets after his death, they won 7-3. The word sacrifice equals 73, a number that's routinely coded in ritual sacrifice. 7-3. Last year, the Mets only won one game in the World Series. They won it 3-9 or 9-3, depending on how you won the score. And if you want to go back and watch my video made before that game, I said to look out for a score of 3-9. How did I know that? The same reason I predicted the Mets would be in the World Series last year in spring training. It was the 111th World Series. New York equals 111 the big way, 39 the small way, 39, 93, 111, huge numbers in New York. Notice the next game against the Mets, they lost 1-12. This is the year of the 112th World Series, 1-1-2. And, you know, when the Cubs clinched and I made that video a couple weeks ago, I talked about how they coded a lot of 39 in the story in addition to clinching in 93 games. And I said this might mean a New York narrative's coming. If the Mets make the playoffs, I have a feeling the NLCS will be Cubs and Mets this year. Very likely. So again, New York has gematria of 39 with the K exception 48. Typically when I talk about New York, I only talk about 39 and 111, but there is also truly a 48 connection to New York. Last year, Mets in the 111th World Series won one game, 3-9. Anyhow, with regards to this man dying at age 24 wearing number 16, 16 is one of the few numbers when written out as a word that has gematria of 33. They say his boat was found at 3:30 in the morning. Secrecy equals 33. Masonry, 33. 33 is the number of Freemason obsession. The baseball diamond, it's not a coincidence that we call the word diamond. Baseball, invented by the Freemasons, the word diamond equals 33. The man who oversaw the diamond trade in Africa, his name was Rhodes. Rhodes equals 33. Very special number to the Freemasons all throughout history. They coded into all of the things that they're doing. TM for trademark, T's 20, M's 13. TM 33. And notice also that false flag equals 33. We're going to talk about the significance of 93, the World Trade Centers, these numbers we're talking about. The day he died, they were supposed to play Atlanta. He was supposed to pitch against Atlanta, but his start, even before his death was reported, got pushed back to the first game against the Mets. But then he died, so obviously he didn't pitch. Anyway, the team that they were playing, Atlanta, they're from the 33rd parallel, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was part of the ritual. Okay, so there's this movie that came out about a year ago called Minions. It's about these little asexual characters that are looking for a leader. And the movie starts way back in time, but then it jumps to the year 1968 in New York City. 1968 was 33 years before 2001, when George W. Bush became president, when September 11th happened. In 1968, and this movie Minions, which equals 93, begins in 1968 in New York City. And in the movie, while they're in New York, they see something called EvilCon, which is in Florida. So they want to travel to Florida. Here we have a New York, Florida series. What do those two states have in common? Jewish. Very Jewish. Florida in gematria sums to the same thing as Jew. And it's not a coincidence. Florida also sums to the same thing as death. And it is these Zionist Freemasons who are sacrificing people as if they're nothing. And the reason that's so is if you read their holy books and you see what the Jewish people think of the rest of the world, it becomes very clear why they established this nation and created freedom of religion. They think that the rest of the world are essentially, things to be played with, not worthy. You can lie to them, you can kill them, you can rape them, you can just do anything you want to them. And the people who run this world, that's who it is. And that's why they treat us as poorly as they do. And that's why they kill young kids needlessly for ritual. You have to know about what's going on in this world. You have to use your eyes to see. You have to ask questions like, why is everyone on TV Jewish? Why are all these commentators Jewish? Why is everyone who owns every media channel Jewish? How come nobody's saying anything about this? How is it possible that the Jewish people own everything? You know? It's very clear who's doing this. The Jewish people worship the number 93. See the video I put out last night on the death of their president at age 93. So anyway, 1968, New York City. 1968 is the year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. It's the year World Trade Center construction began. The year George W. Bush graduated. His birthday 68 days from September 11th. Year MLK assassinated. Bobby Kennedy assassinated. 68, a big year. And this little cartoon for kids, it starts in 68 for a reason. Again, that's 33 years till 2001. False flag 33, number that shows up around tragedy a lot. Here we are in 2016. It's now 48 years since 68. 48 years. And I want you to notice that Fernandez equals 48, propaganda 48. We talked about how New York equals 48, Illuminati's 48, hoax is 48, evil's 48. Whether they're really killing these people or having them fake their deaths, either way it's evil. Because reporting this news to the masses hurts a lot of people. There's people who love their athletes, who just feel sad to hear that a young man died. If you've ever seen the movie Monsters, Inc., which came out right after September 11th, which I have a video on, it's a mocking of us all. It's about how a gang of monsters, they need to rule over us by harnessing our negative energy. Give us negative stories, create negative emotions. We are ruled over by monsters. The word minions, the small way, is also 39 and 48. Minions, New York, 48 years since 1968. So, looking into this, I think I cracked something that I've been wondering about for a long time now. There's people out here who are going to appreciate this piece. The baseball season began on April 3rd this year. April 3rd is typically the 93rd day of the year. 93, the big number here. Cubs clinched in 93 games. But this year it was a leap year, so it was the 94th day. It was the 94th day this year. From the start of the season to the day he died is 175 days. On September 11th, 9/11, 2001 in New York City, there was a whole lot of 93. First of all, there was the 93 World Trade Center bombing. Then there was Flight 11 that hit floors 93 through 99 in the World Trade Centers. Then there was Flight 175 that hit at 9:03 a.m. And then there was Flight 93 of 33 passengers that crashed in Pennsylvania. Anyhow, check this out. 175 sums to 226 in Gematria. 226 sums to 93. And let us not forget that the 93 World Trade Center bombing was on February 26th. The word planet in Jewish gematria equals 226. Saturn equals 93. Saturn, the most important planet to the occult. Saturn, the keeper of time, as we talked about. Flight 175 hit at 9:03 a.m. And I've been trying to put this puzzle together. Finally, just with today's clues, going, okay, 175 days later, 93, there must be something here. Here it is. You know? This gematria is so important to this gang. Reading the reporting on their team talks about how the beginning of their career, they had the ref 54-108 start. Those are special numbers to baseball. There's 108 stitches in a baseball. This year has been 108 years since the Cubs won the World Series. They're under the curse of the Billy Goat, which equals 223, the number for Masonic we'll talk about. And also, the record was 54 and 108. Baseball itself sums to 54. Baseball 54, 54 and 108. What a record for a baseball team in the scripted league by the numbers. And again, in a full baseball game, there's 54 outs, 27 for each team. MLB equals 27. The New York Yankees lead in World Series wins with 27. Major League Baseball equals 162 games in a season. All your pro sports leagues are scripted by the numbers using this gematria code because the Freemasons and Jews run it. So this entire article, the way it ends is with this final sentence. And he was only just getting started, period. And that's the signature on the sick Freemason fucks who are responsible for all these lies by the numbers. And he was only just getting started equals 119, just like our 119 timestamp at the beginning, just like Star of David, just like All-Seeing Eye, just like Master Plan, just like 11/9 for September 11th, the day they did their big Saturn ritual, 93 all over that day. Again, if you missed the original article, something I pointed out about the Miami Marlins is in gematria, they sum to 59, like the word kill. The day he was born was also a date with a life lesson number of 59, meaning he was fitting to be a Marlin, fitting to be a ritual sacrifice, number 16 in the year 2016. From his birthday to the day of his death, 57 days. When you write out World Series, it equals 57. When you write out 57, it has the same gematria as championship, Super Bowl. Last year, 57 days after the World Series, Dave Henderson died at age 57. Henderson equals 48 and 57. Very similar to this man. Died 57 days after the World Series at age 57 with 57 named gematria, and the last team he played for was the Kansas City Royals, who won the World Series last year. The first game, with the score 7-3 like sacrifice, it began with a leadoff home run by D. Gordon against Bartolo Colon. And it was Bartolo Colon's 33rd game of the season, number 33. And look at the name of the player who hit the home run. DeVeris, who hit his first home run of the season. He didn't have a home run all season, but he hit one on the leadoff against Bartolo Colon in his 33rd game. 33 is connected to Saturn and the Saturn ritual. On September 11th, it was Flight 93 of 33 passengers. The sun in gematria sums to 33. They say the sun is 93 million miles away. Planets equals 33. Saturn, the most important of the planets. All of this has been constructed this way because the Freemasons have been building their world around us with this ancient knowledge which goes back thousands of years. They've been constructing the world the way they want it to be, making their rituals as easy as they are. Also, the pitcher who was pitching in his third game, Bartolo Colon, same name gematria as Jose Fernandez, 142. And I'll show you something else about this 142. NYC in gematria sums to 42. New York City got bombed when Bill Clinton, the 42nd president, took office. The name Clinton comes from the original governors of New York. The name Clinton equals 33. Anyhow, when you write out 42 as a word, it sums to 142. The September 11th attack lasted 102 minutes or an hour and 42. They blamed it on the terrorist boogeyman in the cave. All these numbers are relevant. That's why it's all lined up the way it is. As for that D. Gordon who hit the home run, I noticed his birthday was 157 days. United States equals 157. It was 175, a reversal of those numbers from the start of the season to the death of Jose Fernandez. It was also 22 weeks and 3 days. The Synagogue of Satan equals 223. Masonic 223, Curse of the Billy Goat 223. We got Detroit's Goat 223. That was the motto that went with the Curse of the Billy Goat. It's just sick, Truth Seeker, and it's always the same numbers every time. You watch one of my videos, maybe this information seems loose. You watch 10 of my videos, you see how I'm talking about the same thing every single time. These people, very ritualistic. It's very identifiable who is responsible. Until next time.